All right, hit me. It's the fastest iPad ever. It's got more RAM than ever before. But in all seriousness, we all know that I wouldn't be here at the zoo with my poor family in tow, with Hagrid from Radical Raptors hanging out with me. These guys are super cool. They let me put the owl in the video.
Freaking awesome.
And of course, Dennis, who drove over here from the office if this was just another faster iPad. No, this is so game-changing that I felt compelled to pull again poor Dennis out here to the zoo to go for a walk with me and talk about how it is going to change the mobile device industry. So without further ado then, let's go do that and, or wait, actually here, Dylan, you can have your bird back.
Thanks.
The bequiet Dark-Base Pro 900's modular design supports a variety of different layouts and configurations. Click on the link in the video description to learn more. It's not really a secret that I've never been a huge fan of this category of product. Back when Apple released the first iPad, I denounced it as an uncarryable device. And what I mean by that is that if it was smaller, then I could put it in my pocket and I wouldn't have to carry a day pack. And if I was, I don't know, at the zoo, for example, and I did have a bag, well, it's not functional enough for me to not just bring a laptop. I mean, to be clear, I'm not calling the category useless. I use my iPad 2 all the time. It's just that for the aforementioned reasons, I don't go out with it, and everything that I do on it can still be done on an iPad 2, whether that's watching movies on Netflix when somebody's on the TV, or whether that's shopping on Amazon or giving to my daughter to, kill some time while daddy takes a nap or whatever the case may be. Like, I have no temptation to be out there taking stabilized 4K video because it has the same camera as the iPhone 7. And I think this is something that Apple themselves has acknowledged, not directly, but by maintaining this iPad Pro category of product and by releasing earlier this year the iPad, the most commodity product that I think we've seen from Apple in quite some time. Like it doesn't give you that Apple premium feels. It's like cost down so that every student in the classroom can afford one. Okay, so yeah, we get the point. The category is not particularly exciting. So then why get so amped up? Is it the speed? Compared to the last iPad, CPU is 30% faster, GPU is 40% faster, it's got 4 gigs of RAM, more than ever before on an iOS device? No. With a tablet, between so many of the services you use being cloud-based, where the processing can be offloaded from the device, and the fact that the user interface on a tablet is so much more often my bottleneck when I'm trying to do something compared to the processing of the device, that's not what gets my motor humming at all. Okay, what about the size then? The size is different from previous iPad Pros. At 10.5 inches, it's kind of in between 9.7 and 13 or whatever it was. But even there, I'm gonna go with no. So yes, the bezels on a large iPad are now a lot more like the bezels on the iPad mini, which is something new and something different, sort of, because it's different for the iPad, but not different from the rest of the industry. I mean, the race to, infinity edges and bezel-less devices is well underway, and Apple is hardly leading the charge, even with this kind of screen to bezel ratio. But we are getting closer, because the thing that I'm really excited about is actually the screen. And no, I mean, the color, the DCI-P3 wide color gamut, the 600 nits peak brightness, and ooh, the capybara! Okay, I am gonna be a pad hole, and I'm gonna take a picture of the capybara. Look at that, it's like a great big tailless rat. I'm not that excited about HDR because there's not a ton of content yet, and even what is there isn't especially well mastered. No, the thing I'm excited about is the refresh rate. This is, in a nutshell, where my admiration for Apple comes from, because I've criticized them a lot, and I don't like everything that they do. But what they do have is the courage to try new features. And when I talk about courage, I am not talking about removing the headphone jack. That to me is kind of a, it's almost a way of kind of bullying the market into adopting their standard. That's not really courage. That's like calling Sony's insistence on memory stick courage. That's just obnoxious. I'm talking about the courage to spend an extra, I don't know how much, maybe it's 50 cents, maybe it's $5 on every iPad Pro they sell for a more advanced display controller and an IPS panel that's capable of a 120 hertz refresh rate. And you might say, yeah, sure, you know, what's $5? Let's say it's $5. The answer is a lot, because Apple's gonna sell this product for a nice round number MSRP, regardless of what specs they put in it. It'll be, you know, $8.99 or $9.99. Go ahead.
I've never been able to do that before.
No problem. Sorry, we're back. And by the time they sell 5 million or 10 million of them, now we're talking $25 million or $50 million. That's courage. Spending money on something that nobody asked for because you think it's a better experience for the end user. Because that's actually, in my mind, one of the biggest problems with the rest of the electronics industry. Only being willing to build something with the features that your customers are asking for. That's how you end up with 20 laptops on the shelf at Best Buy, all of which are basically the same. And while some people seem to think that the 120 hertz display is about spec padding and about having something that nobody else has, it's not. It matters a lot more than you probably think, and for a lot more use cases than you probably realize. So let's start with the one that's most obvious when you initially pick up the device. It feels really fast. Just the fact that the screen is refreshing sooner after you interact with it makes the device feel instantly more responsive. And even more impressively, Apple managed to do this without compromising one of their hallmarks, which is great battery life, by using adaptive refresh rate technology. So the refresh rate of the display will actually go down if it's not displaying high refresh rate content, or if it is displaying a static image, and then it'll go up when you interact with it. And this is one of the things that people love to criticize Apple about, like, oh, they didn't invent that. No, they didn't invent adaptive refresh rate tech. But what they did do was they implemented it in a way that is meaningful and enhances the user experience. And gaming is another use case where this makes a ton of sense to me. It's a way to improve the experience of a game on a higher end device without increasing stratification in the App Store. So without driving up the graphical fidelity to the point where anything but the 2017 iPad Pro is going to be running the game like a slideshow. So people who buy the higher end device are gonna run the game at 120 frames per second. It's gonna be butter smooth. It's gonna feel like a really great experience. But app developers don't have to lock themselves out of being able to access the hordes of people that own previous generation devices. And honestly, that's something Apple doesn't really want in the App Store anyway. They want apps to run on all devices that they decide are, you know, current and supported. Not you, app developer, you don't get to decide that. Apple decides that. And the last one that a lot of people probably wouldn't consider is, Dennis, are you keeping up? Sorry. Here, we're gonna go this way. The last one that a lot of people probably wouldn't consider is media consumption. So the cool thing about 120 hertz is that whether we're talking 60 FPS content, 30 FPS content, or 24 FPS movie content, all of it can run, even if this wasn't an adaptive refresh rate display, which it is, but all of it could run on a 120 hertz display without any judder or without any like pull down or any kind of like the tomfoolery that they do where they'll duplicate a frame in order to take non-native content and run it on a different refresh rate display. So then, back kind of to the beginning, where I don't care that much about tablets. I really don't. But what I'm excited about is what Apple is doing to the industry with this product. I mean, to be clear, there is no 100% guarantee that just because we got a 120 hertz display on the 2017 iPad Pro, that we're gonna get a 120 hertz display on the upcoming iPhone 8. In fact, I mean, the iPad Pro, the last generation, had USB 3. The iPhone 7 does not. And the iPhone 7 has a solid-state home button, whereas this new iPad Pro does not. But I would say, now that Apple's made that investment into the display controller, now that they've got the feature out there, and since there's no cost in terms of power consumption to putting it on a smaller device, there is a very good chance that on Apple's premium devices, we're just gonna see this as a feature moving forward. And this is something that I have wanted for a long time. Both high refresh rate and variable refresh rate are huge experience-changing technologies. And what's great about this is that once Apple does it, everybody else wakes up and goes, oh, maybe that's important. And we start seeing it on, every tablet and every phone and every computer, and everything starts to feel a little bit faster and a little bit more premium. So that ultimately is why I care about the iPad Pro 2017, because I don't care about the iPad Pro 2017. iFixit, the place to go if you need to tear down or repair pretty much any electronic device. They've got guides for so many popular things. I mean, we're talking the Galaxy S8, the iPhone, the Nintendo Switch, the iMac, and they're also leading the charge in the electronic repair tools industry with their iconic black and blue Pro Tech Toolkit. Don't let the sleek design fool you. It's got both beauty and brawn with high quality steel bits and tools tough enough to handle any repair or mod that you throw at them. And, oh, this is new, it's now only $59.95. Bam! It includes the 64-bit driver kit, their prying tools, their ESD-safe tweezers, and a flex extension, which is also magnetic for hard-to-reach screws. And iFixit tools are backed by iFixit's lifetime warranty. So you want to tackle your next hack, fix, or build with the ProTech Toolkit? Go to ifixit.com/Linus to snag it for only $59.95. So thanks for watching our walk in the park discussion about the iPad Pro. We had so much fun making the other one out in the rain in Taiwan that I figured, what the hey, we'll do it again. Also, it really was between dragging my family to the office and dragging Dennis out here to the zoo with us, so we went with the latter option. If you guys disliked the video, you can hit the dislike button, but if you liked it, hit the like button, get subscribed, maybe consider checking out where to buy the iPad Pro. We've got an affiliate link down in the video description. Also down there, we've got our, oh, I'm not wearing one of our shirts, but we've got a link to our merch store where you can buy LTT shirts, and we've got a link to our community forum where you can join up and talk tech. Now, I'm gonna go back to watching this eagle check out that rabbit down there. Look at that. He's like, yeah, I see you, rabbit. Rabbit's like, yeah, I see you're in a cage, chump. Still able to get my picture with the owl for $10?